straight from hell.
Er warnte uns vor etwas Gefährlichem. Etwas, das das Ende der Menschheit verheißen würde.
Na, Sonntagnachmittag, seid ihr noch alle da? Also, das hört sich nicht so an. Ich weiß, wir haben schon mal besser. Wenn das jetzt noch einmal alle machen, bin ich zufrieden. 1, 2, 3. Sehr gut, das hört sich eher an wie ein Comic-Con-Sonntagnachmittag. Nochmal herzlich willkommen. Wir sind auf der Zielgeraden zu unseren finalen Panels. Und gestern hatten wir sie schon hier und sie ist bezaubernd. Und ich glaube, wir haben viele Fans und deswegen direkt einen großen Applaus bitte für Jennifer Morrison. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. So, from medical professional to fairy tale queen, how did that feel for you, you know? Because you surpassed in episode-wise with Once Upon a Time, Dr. House.
Yeah, I guess I did. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel very lucky. It's very rare to do 2 shows that run for so long, and I got to go do How I Met Your Mother in between, which was really fun as well. And it was great. You know, I felt very lucky also that they were very different shows, so I got to do something that was totally different.
Do you feel like Once Upon a Time connected so well with the audience because it's a fairy tale in the modern world? Like, you know, what every girl kind of dreams of is happening.
Maybe. I think, you know, it's one of those things where because there were so many characters that were familiar to us, you know, that we grew up reading stories about and having ideas about, and so there was a familiarity with Snow White and Prince Charming and Cinderella and, you know, the Evil Queen and all these characters, and you know, what the showrunners did was really expand that, like fill in all the blanks and all the what ifs and the maybes, and imagine what happened after the happily ever after moment that was in the fairy tale. So I think the familiarity kind of drew people in, and then I think the writer's creativity of continuing to expand those worlds is what really kept people coming back over and over again.
So I bet we have a lot of fans and they're already lined up over there.
Okay.
So let's start with question number 1 from the Captain Marvel over there.
Hi, so my first thing isn't particularly a question, but Kristen Bauer was supposed to be here this weekend, and I know she's really upset that she wasn't able to be here. But I was hoping if we can get like yourself and the whole audience kind of saying hello from Germany, so I can put it on Instagram.
Oh, sure.
For her. Would that be okay?
Sure. What do you want? How do you want to do that?
Like, if everyone can join in, that would be really
Sure. On 3, we'll say hi, Kristen.
Ja, also alle auf 3 Hi Kristen sagen, ja? Ja? 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have a question?
Yeah. Hi, Anthony. Thank you for coming.
Ein bisschen näher ans Mikro? Ja?
Could you tell us about one of the funniest moments on set of Once Upon a Time you didn't tell about?
You know, people always ask me about funny moments on that show, and I feel like I don't remember them. I don't know if we. Part of it is like, you know, we were always in a rainy forest, so we were always trying to stay dry-ish, which we failed at miserably. But so it wasn't an environment where we were like goofing around all the time. I feel like, you know, people have definitely seen my famous aura fluffing, which started with Michael Raymond James. He would, oh God, I miss him. He's great. I was just talking to him with Donald this morning. I was like, oh, I miss him. I don't even remember how it started, but he was like grumpy one day, and I started fluffing his aura, which made him laugh, which made everybody laugh, and then it sort of became a thing. So we definitely had some good laughs over things like that. There was a couple times where it was like really, really late, and Ginny would just get the giggles over something that made no sense, and then she'd start laughing so hard she was crying, but because she was laughing so hard she was crying, it would make me laugh so hard I was crying, and then we were just a mess at that point. But I don't know that anything funny happened to cause that. I think we were just delirious and tired.
Thank you.
Dankeschön. Nächste Frage.
Hello.
two questions, but first I want to say that I really, really love you. And
Thank you.
And my first question is, do you ship Sword Queen?
I ship all the ships. I can't pick ships, so you guys know that. That's not something I can do. I love that everybody has all these pairings that they love, and I truly am a fan of all of them. I love working with every single actor that everyone's imagined me paired with, and I've enjoyed the storylines with all of them, so all the ships are my ships.
Okay, and my second question is, what character of Once Upon a Time do you think is the most evil?
I don't know. I mean, I guess deep down, Rumple is the one who sort of continues to return to darkness over and over again. I mean, they took him through a few different redemption stories, but he seems to be the one who kind of always falls back into darkness. So I think maybe he's the scariest or the darkest of the villains.
Thank you.
Hey, weiter.
Hi, my name is Jasmine, and my question is, what did you most like about Emma?
Well, I love everything about Emma, and I feel so lucky that I got to play Emma and bring her to life. But I think one of the things I've always liked most about her is her determination to do the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. And that's something that I think was a through line for her for the whole show. You know, that she was always trying her best to assess what the truly right thing was, and I admire that about her.
Okay, thank you. Love you.
Thank you.
Hi. Recently you said that you are going to be Catwoman, and I was wondering, how did you keep that secret? Because you post that picture on December and no one knows about it. So how would you keep it? And what's your favorite superhero, and which superhero you would date?
Who I would date?
Yeah.
Well, I did date the Winter Soldier, so
True.
I feel like I could cover that. Let's see. I don't know, in terms of keeping the secret. You know, when you work on projects like this, they are very secretive, and they have their times that they want to announce things. And you know, when Tyler and I did the photo shoot for December, and we did the Catwoman look, it felt like a fun sort of Easter egg, you know, because someone suggested the theme of doing some sort of superhero or Marvel character, and we were like, well, no one will know. I mean, it's just a character right now, you know. There was no reason for people to be clued into that, so it was a fun way to kind of plant that seed early and then have it pay off later. Yeah, and then we just waited until they told us it was okay to announce it.
Thank you.
Hi. I think a lot of people ask you that, but what was your best moment in Once Upon a Time? What do you think?
I loved the musical episode. I really did.
Yeah.
There were so many wonderful moments, but that's definitely an episode that stands out and will always be very special to me.
Thank you. You were very great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Have you ever seen yourself dubbed in another language? And if yes, what did you think of it?
It's so funny, someone asked me this morning. Yeah, I not a ton. I haven't seen it often. I feel like I've seen my French voice a few times, and maybe Italian. And I have a friend in Budapest who recently sent a clip of me, my voice there, So I've seen little bits of it. It's very funny to hear someone else's voice when my mouth is moving.
Yeah, I prefer the original.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi. Just wanted to know if you remember your first concert and what it was.
I do. My first concert was The Who playing the entire Quadrophenia album, which was probably way before most of the births of the children here, but it was amazing. It was really cool. It was in Chicago. I'm trying to think what the arena was, but yeah, it was great. And then I saw a whole lot of Dave Matthews after that. That's you grow up in the Midwest and in Chicago, you see Dave Matthews over and over again, at least at my age. So I saw him like, I don't know, 10 times or something.
Oh, thank you.
I have two questions today. And first, I wanted to know how was Albion and how you shot the scene with multiple you. There was also people or something?
No, that was tricky. That was hard. We shot that film in Bulgaria, and I assumed that they were going to have, I'm trying to think how many of me there were. I think there were 6 of me total. So I assumed that there were going to be 5 actors that were in, doubled costumes that I would be working across from while we were doing it. But because we were in Bulgaria and because of the budget of the film and all stuff, that was not the case. They did have a body double who didn't speak English at all, who didn't look like me, nor did her body look like me, nor did she move at all like me. So it was a real process. And I was already trying to be 6 people, which was also a real process. So it was interesting. I mean, it was definitely a challenge, and I was kind of trying to help the body double mimic the movements that I had done for the previous version of the character, and then we'd sort of get that down, and then we'd get to the point where I felt good about my performance, and then we'd move on to another one, and we kind of tried to keep the shot clean of the other version as much as possible so that we didn't have to keep managing, moving the body double around. So, and also they didn't have doubles of the costumes, so we were also like going into a tent and I'd have to give her my costume and then put the next costume. I mean, it was just like, when you do these movies on a budget, there's all sorts of crazy things that go on, but it was definitely quite a challenge. I really enjoyed the challenge of playing the 6 characters. I've actually never seen the film. I'm like terrified to see it, so I should probably see that scene at some point. But yeah, I don't know. 6 of me arguing with me sounds like a nightmare, but it's out there.
So my second question was, what's your favorite quote from Once Upon a Time?
I feel like I struggle with this because for me, learning lines is like taking a math test. I remember it for as long as I need to, and then it's completely gone. So I'm sure that there's other lines that I loved that I'm not remembering right now. But the thing that sort of stands out, that was an overall sort of idea of the whole show, was that magic comes with a price. Because I do believe that. I think that anytime you try to kind of cut corners and not really do something the way that it needs to be done, that there is a price. There is a cost to that in life, and it's an interesting metaphor, and it's something that I feel like I've seen manifest in life over and over again. And I really believe in going the distance and sort of walking things out the way that they're meant to be walked out, and doing things fully and completely, even if it means a lot of hard work. So it's something that's always kind of resonated with me from the show.
Thank you very much. Love you.
Thank you.
Hello, you're very inspiring to many of us, and my question would be if there's anything that is inspiring to you.
Everything's inspiring to me. You guys are inspiring to me. A weekend like this is inspiring to me. Inspiration for creativity comes in so many different places. Sometimes it's watching a film. Sometimes it's watching a film I love. Sometimes it's watching a film I don't love. Sometimes you learn more from the things you don't like. I get inspiration from books. I get inspiration from ads sometimes, I feel like when your eyes are sort of open to all of the things that are blooming around you, there's so many places to grab inspiration from. So, every day is filled with inspiration.
Thank you.
Hello, first of all, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And my question is, are you still in contact with any of your Once Upon a Time cast members?
Oh yeah, of course. It's tricky once we all go separate ways and start working on other projects because everybody gets busy and you get pulled between different cities and countries and all sorts of things. But we all check in and say hi and happy birthday and things like that. And we're always happy to run into each other when we run into each other.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. My name is Mel, and I was recently watching the whole series with House MD with my 14-year-old daughter. and she loved it. And we were wondering what your favorite episode of House MD was.
Oh my goodness, that was so long ago.
I know, 40
You just
years.
watched it. I did that 10 years ago. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it's all a blur. I did 130 episodes. I run into people that are like, I was a patient on House. And I'm like, were you? There's so many patients. I don't. What's your favorite?
Yeah, it's hard to pick one, really. I think I like the favorite most when you open up to House and you have the date with him.
Oh yeah, that was a nice episode.
Yeah, so that's my favorite, I guess.
It was cute. He brought me a corsage.
Yes.
For that. I liked that episode too. I like that one. Yeah, I'm so sorry. When I dive into things, it's hard to explain sometimes because you guys are watching things in current time or recently or over and over again. You know, I move on to another project and I go 100,000% at that project and I get consumed with it in a way where some of what I did before starts to fall away a little bit and I'm fully engrossed in the next thing, you know? So I've been 100% engrossed in so many things since then that it's hard for me to kind of, you know, sift through and remember the exact details of any one episode. But, you know, the whole experience overall was wonderful. I mean, that changed my life and I loved playing that character and I loved working with that cast and it was one of the most special things that could have happened to my life and my career to be a part of all of that.
Thank you.
All right, we have the last question coming up.
Hello, my name is Joshua. I want to wish you a happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I really loved the performance in House, and when you left House MD, it kind of sucked.
That wasn't my choice.
No, I know, but it was lovely to see you in How I Met Your Mother. Unfortunately, you didn't stick with it in How I Met Your Mother.
That also wasn't my choice.
No, I know. And same for Once Upon a Time.
That was my choice.
Oh, seriously? Why? Why was it the choice to?
Gosh, I've talked about this so much. I just assume people know. I had a 6 year.
I missed it. So.
It's okay. I had a 6-year contract, and I did my 6 years, and I loved it. And in terms of the character and the storytelling, but I was living away from home. I was living in another country, and I was away from my family and my friends and my home, and I had gotten actually quite depressed. You know, 6 years is a very long time to be alone, away from all the people you're close to. For me, it was time to go home. I just needed to do the right thing for me to be healthy and happy, and I needed to go home. And my contract was up, so I just didn't renew the contract, even though some of the other actors did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that question. I mean, you're still around, even though we won't have you on stage, but there's still a couple of hours left of this Comic-Con.
Yeah.
You know, anyone that didn't get to ask that question or didn't have enough courage because it's a big crowd, you know, they can still come meet you, you know, still get an autograph signed and use the chance to meet you.
Absolutely.
So I would like to thank you for being on stage to produce with us and being here in Dortmund.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for coming.
So please, everyone.